Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. That's right, we've done all the work for you. All you have to do is press play and listen. And today, we're doing all the hard work of gathering together at 10. And when I say hard work, I mean we're making the cuts. We're making the decisions. We're making the playlist for you. But I'm going to be honest, 2 hours and 9 minutes isn't exactly hard work. We'll get into that more here in a second because we have values here. Heyo. Today we are talking about Dag Nasty, and this is one of the first times, Chris, you're setting the table here. I don't recall. I assume this was probably an episode where it was just you, me, and John, and afterwards you said, "Hey, Dag Nasty is a band I'd like to do." So, talk to me about Dag Nasty and why are we here talking about them today?
Oh, I remember exactly what it was. My band Sketchy had just opened for them in Philadelphia at Theater for Living Arts. And I had the most embarrassing moment of my life meeting a musician. I have never in my life been starstruck. My father is a Teamster. He drives actors, and I've been around celebrities my whole life. It's not been weird. I've been lucky enough to get on really cool tours, meet really cool people, work in the industry, and I walked into the green room, saw Brian Baker, and I did the full-on Grandpa Simpson going into the fucking brothel, putting his hat on the thing, picking it back up, and turning around and leaving. My guitar player, Guglielmo, followed me outside, turned me around, brought me back inside, forced me to talk to Brian. He was the sweetest man I've ever met in my entire life. I said, congratulations on being a member of my favorite band. Yes, Lifetime's my favorite band, but Bad Religion is also my favorite band. It's very complicated. And it was amazing, and it was one of the best shows I ever played. They gave us a bunch of free merch, and the Dag Nasty hoodie from their current incarnation, I think from like 2015 on, has been the official gig outfit of Sketchy for the last 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, it's my favorite musician on the project that he had full creative control over, and it's a cornerstone of the genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So again, I assume this happened on some episode with you, John, where Chris puts this out and you said, "Yeah, I'll do that." So talk to me about Dag Nasty.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, you know, we did, you know, Lifetime, and I think at the end of Lifetime we talked about like, oh, you know, here Lifetime's the blueprint for like, you know, Saves the Day and all those, you know, melodic hardcore bands leading up until like Turnstile that we talked about, like all these bands that, you know, we've done on the show.
Got a new record coming out.
And we were like, oh well, Dag Nasty's where it really starts. And you know, you really got to talk about, you know, Minor Threat, because Brian Baker was in Minor Threat. Minor Threat breaks up because half the band wants to go in a more commercial direction, half the band wants to stay, you know, hardcore. Brian Baker was in the commercial side of that, and so he starts Dag Nasty and like 85, you think of like, you know, what's going on in DC, like Revolution Summer, Rites of Spring, Embrace. But like Dag Nasty wasn't really a part of that. They were the first hardcore band to really be like, oh, we want to be successful. Like we want to turn this into like a career. Like we want to be famous. And it turned out really interesting because, you know, they're still a hardcore band and like it didn't really work. Like they didn't become the next U2 or whatever, you know, they wanted to be. So, but like they influenced all those bands. Like I was going to ask you, Justin, like, can you see the thread? Because like that's what we're kind of been leading towards, like going from Turnstile, you know, back to Lifetime and all the bands in between. And like, do you see like the evolution of this thing, like became melodic hardcore that like got turned into all these different things? Like that's my question to you is, can you trace that evolution? Because that's what's, you know, really interesting about going back and doing these bands with you, a person who's never heard them before, I'm guessing.
Yeah. To
see like, oh, like this gives us context for everything else and all these other bands.
Oh, for sure. Like I love how sometimes it's not always apples to apples, and like it's not always apparent that this is a feeder band. That and I don't think that's the real term, but it's the term I'm using. I loved how I wouldn't have guessed that, other than production wise, I didn't have like a time frame on it. Like I clearly forgot when we had this conversation about when we're doing this band. So like I didn't realize that that's what we were doing here. And so like I went to go look at the dates of the records before we hit record today, and I was like, oh, and stuff started kind of clicking. So like all these things you're bringing up, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, of course. Clearly that makes sense.
And two, you might think like, oh, you know, 1985, 1986, you know, Lifetime doesn't start till, they don't put out their first record till at 89 or 90. You might think, oh, that's like a really long time, but this is pre-internet. You had to rely on like your older brother, and you had to rely on like tapes because you couldn't find these records everywhere. So like it would take a few years for this stuff to like get down to the next generation who would hear it and then go, oh, like I want to do that, and then throw something else into it and throw a new wrinkle in it. And then you had, you know, a few years later, and then a few years later, and back then these things took time.
Yeah. So I mean, we got an interesting nugget here, David, right before we went on, to kind of tag on to all this. We were casually talking about top 10 artists, and we'll probably revisit this on After the Fact. So patreon.com/ohhi, Justin, if you like. But you casually go, oh, by the way, Dag Nasty is a top 10 for me. So talk about it. Here you are.
Yeah, maybe a top 5. I don't know. They hover. I mean, it is, if it's not a top 5, it's number 6, you know?
Right.
They, just like Chris was saying, Brian Baker, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. If there's a Mount Rushmore that doesn't have a bunch of shithead presidents on it, but badass guitar players, then he could easily be on there for me. So yeah, he's great. Everything he does is great. You know, we can slide by the junkyard stuff if you're not a hair metal guy like I am, and that's okay. But as far as Dag Nasty goes, yeah, they were a band I discovered, and as soon as I did, all I could think was, wait, this is the little guy with glasses from Minor Threat? That's all like it's his brainchild, you know, like I think there's an interview somewhere where he said he pretty much wanted to make his own version of what he thought the Descendants were, pretty much. And, you know, you hear it, but the Descendants are their own weird band, and he is his own masterful melodic hardcore guitar god self. So, you know, it isn't exactly a Descendants knockoff or anything. Yeah, so I've got a lot to say about this band, and I guess one thing we can preface with is that one of their, they don't have a ton of releases, and one of their, what do they have, 5 albums or so. One of them isn't streaming on Spotify, so that one, Field Day.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
I wanted to talk,
yeah.
I wanted to talk about it before we got into it, if we could.
Yeah. We won't be doing that one, and that's fine or whatever. John has some other stuff to say about it too.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get out of the way.
Yeah, we have contention there, but it's not a complete loggerhead point, I don't think. I don't think it's a masterpiece or anything, but I think that he thinks a lot less of it than I do. So anyway, Dag Nasty, incredible band, changed my mind on hardcore when I wasn't really into it, changed my life as a guitar player. And yeah.
We've talked a lot over the course of this show, like about, especially this panel specifically, like kind of some bands that kind of fed into bands that I ended up, really liking in later in my life. And I love that kind of discovery to this show, kind of to John's point before. Like I think I had heard Dag Nasty's name kind of in passing. Jesus, cat. Kind of in passing. Travis Barker, I think, has a tattoo of, can I say?
Does.
And so I assume at some point he probably talked about them on like a Blink doc or something that I would have watched. So like the name kind of
Justin, is his bio not his like autobiography? Isn't it also named Can I Say?
Probably. If it is, I haven't seen it. Yeah, so so like this is one of those bands, again, kind of to John's point earlier, like this is something that's kind of been right there all along for me. I never made it there on my own, so here we are. We've made reference here a bunch, Chris, like about that, like we specifically picked this band for this week because we needed something we could do in less than a week. So 2 hours, 9 minutes, it's not a lot of tracks, but was this an easy one to put together?
No. I remember I said to you guys last week, right? We were doing Screeching Weasel, and I was like, I could be ready in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It turns out I cannot be ready in 24 hours. Also, like, it became more difficult because it's the old adage of like, there's the classic record and there's other songs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I learned doing this is that I had more trouble differentiating between what I wanted to take from other releases than I did not just doing Can I Say. And I don't know if everybody else had the same experience as me, but like I because of the fact that they have different vocalists, and I know we left Field Day out, so like Peter didn't really get his due here. I mean, Wig Out's not a bad record. I do think it's really I think it's a lot weaker than other people think it is. And we're going to talk a little bit about Field Day, I think, right? That's the plan.
Yeah. It's got to be addressed.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think that dude is such a footnote in this monolith that it's so bizarre. And I'm glad we're going to talk about it because of that. But I had a lot of trouble with it. I'll be honest. And I think my list is like good. And I think we're going to have a high number of things the same, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But it wasn't an easy one this time. I'll be honest. I had a lot of trouble breaking things down. In fact, like I got back from the gig I was at today, and I had to sit down for an hour and re-listen to songs. And like, my girlfriend Rachel was next to me, and I was like talking out loud and like punishing her. Like I had trouble. But I got there, and I'm very pleased with my choices. But this was the hardest one for me so far.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, did you make her listen to Field Day?
No,
It's
we
not
don't.
streaming, man.
We're not using Field Day. It's not on the list.
I know, but it's on YouTube. I was gonna say that's
No.
punishment. I don't know that
my God.
I don't know that I would recommend that.
That's punishment.
All right. So
I didn't have time for that. You know.
So before we get to your actual list, then let's do Field Day right now. So
All right, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
because we're there. So John, like it got brought up a couple times by David. I couldn't tell if this was sarcasm based on John's reaction, but John's last go was hard pass. So, is it Field Days just that bad, or does it just not belong?
It's not great. So, Dag Nasty is like, so how do I put this delicately? So they're like a victim of the time that they existed, right? So 1985, hardcore, punk is over, right? Things are changing. 1986, maybe the worst year for underground music since 1977. Like, not a lot of great stuff came out.
Let's go, Mets.
85, baseball notwithstanding, but 85 you still have some good stuff going on. 87 you get Operation Ivy starts, the whole Gilman Street thing starts. By 88 you have Bad Religion puts out Suffer, NoFX has Ribbed, I think was 88. So things are starting to change. Like the second wave of punk is starting to come back up. But in 1986, the specter of the 80s is encompassing everything, right? And that Dag Nasty got sucked up into that, right? We got at Denko's, there's some very 80s sounding stuff on there. Happened to the Descendants too, right? Those last two Descendants records are filled with that stuff too. And when you get to Field Day, they were a different band. I don't think you had any of the original members besides Brian Baker. And it's just I think there's a track, I listened to it maybe 25 years ago when I was getting into it, and I had not listened to it again until a few days ago when we were talking about it. I was like, let me go put this on and see if I'm remembering things wrong. It's just not great. I think there's synthesizers. There's a song where they make fun of one of the songs from the first record, oh, we were so dumb into hardcore. They
re-recorded one of the songs,
right? It's not better. I was at the Hold Steady played here a few months ago, and they did a Q&A sound check thing that you could go see. And Henry Owings, I don't know if you guys know Henry Owings. He did the Chunklet zine. He's from Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he was hosting this Q&A. And he was talking about, I bet, talking about one of the guys that Hold Steady he bet them to get a tattoo or something. And the tattoo is the Minor Threat sheep, but it has the Hold Steady. And it says the guy he, paid them to get a tattoo. And he made a joke oh, it's bad, but it's not third Dag Nasty record bad. So it's become it's a known thing that this is a shitty record. And there's a reason it's not on Spotify, because I don't think the band wants it on Spotify. They know that the reception would not be great. And yeah, I do not recommend listening to it. It's the worst of that punk band tries to mature, and in the late 80s. It's not great. I will not be listening to it any further.
So
the line has been drawn in the sand.
If it had been on this list, I would have zero.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir.
I tell it like it is.
Yeah. So
I think I'm in the majority.
I mean,
I'm not a minority of one.
Pantheon, in the pantheon of Brian Baker records that are remembered as being shitty, I do want to say that The Gray Race is a good fucking album. And I haven't.
The Gray Race is light years better than Field Day or anything Junkyard did. If we want to talk about Junkyard,
it's remembered the same way. It's remembered. Yes, it is. No. Yes, it fucking is.
No.
It's not No Substance, but it's remembered it's No Substance is.
The only comparison is Into the Unknown. If you want to talk about Bad Religion.
Well, no. I'm talking just Brian Baker records, but No Substance is I think he's on that, right? Isn't that afterwards?
Yeah.
That's a terrible record. I mean, it's bad idea after bad idea after bad idea, right?
Yeah.
But The Gray Race, is good, and I also think Field Day's got stuff. And like the only you said like it's not any of the original members. Technically, Peter was on Wig Out, right? The singer.
But he's not an original member.
No, God, no. But I'm saying like he's not. He's still a guy from Dag Nasty, right? Like, yeah.
He's the third singer.
I get it, which is hilarious, which we'll have to get into. That Dave is not even the original singer. Right. There's stuff on it, and everything you said is right. I can't add to the conversation here. I'll say that like it's got a cool art, and it's got a different vibe, and it's still got ideas. That's what I'll say.
So, David, did you want?
Well,
yeah, I was going to say.
Brian Baker. I listened to I can't remember what podcast it was where they interviewed him. It might have been Turned Out a Punk or one of these where he got a pretty long diatribe about Field Day, and he said they were signed to a like one of these subsidiaries of a major Giant Records for that one, and so they had like this, very minimal major label ish budget, and he was like, for the first time in my life, I was in my like early 20s. I started smoking pot, and he's like, and I thought, and that's what he said. He was like, I moved, I moved to, he's like, I moved to like somewhere near the beach, and he's like, so I was just going to the beach every day, stoned out of my mind. I'm a fucking rock star. I'm on. He's like, in my mind, I'm on a major label, and he's like, we just got a new drummer, and we didn't have any songs. And he's like, he's like, that's why the album is this like mishmash of, hard rock, punk rock. There's some like Smiths sounding shit on there, real jangly stuff, and a bunch of like weird snippets of things. Is because he was like, we didn't really have any songs, so it was just me coming up with whatever. And I think that just like Chris was saying, there are some things on there. They're pretty cool, but it wouldn't be speaking out of turn to say it's a bad album. That's like the general consensus. So I surely won't be fighting the good fight saying it's a good album. But I think there are some cool songs on there. But anyway, that's about as far as good as it will get. Is there's some pretty cool songs on there, and they are good. But the album as a whole, weird album. I passed up a vinyl copy about 20 years ago for $8, and now they go for like 150. So
Jesus,
yeah,
I'll kill myself later over it because it's the only album of theirs I don't own. But oh well, life goes on.
Well, there you have it. Like it's been meted out. We've discussed why it's not here, and it sounds like all in all, maybe a couple of those songs may have entered the discussion, but they probably didn't have much chance. So, John, with the songs that we did have, talk to me about putting your 20 together for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of, back and forth. I mean, again, I probably had, 10 that I really had to have, like, that were locks. Some of my favorite songs in the genre, but it was a matter of going through, Four on the Floor and Minority of One to pull out what I thought was, the best from those, but not difficult. We do, this is a super quick turnaround, so you had to make some quick decisions.
Yeah, we didn't. Usually, there's a week or two in between where we have a little bit of discussion about how it's going. This time, not so much, David. So I have no idea. I think you turned yours around real quick. I think a day or two.
Oh yeah. Well, sort of in the mindset of the other guys. What do I do? Do I just pick everything off? Can I say? No. My favorite album of theirs, and we can't mix up favorite with best, but my favorite album of theirs is Wig Out. But I mean, it would be stupid to not.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Wow,
it would be stupid.
that's spicy. I'm burning, babe.
Well, I mean, dude, but it would be ridiculous to ignore the fact that Can I Say it's the one.
Right.
I'm not a fool. But but Wig Out has some great stuff too. So those two, probably were the easy, immediate picks. And then I was familiar with Four on the Floor and Minority of One, so it wasn't hard to revisit and figure out what was worth ranking from those. But it was fun going back to Four on the Floor for some of the deep cuts that I hadn't quite listened to in the better part of 15-20 years. So some of those are a little fun. So we'll get into those roughly as we get into them, I guess.
So similarly, I came away going, Can I Say is like the one. If there's one, then I'm gonna send somebody to. I think Are
you gonna get the chest tattoo? That's what we want to know.
I will not be getting a chest tattoo.
No, get a stomach tattoo.
Coward.
Exercise.
Yeah, dude, just don't be a coward. Like, just do something for once.
It'll be knife time, if anything.
Yeah,
knife time.
Let's
go.
So
that's for the real ones.
Yes. I always do this. Like I try to listen to as much of the playlist before we record as possible. And with this one, I really did get almost halfway through. And like, I'm looking at my list and I feel like in hindsight, I feel like I've disrespected Four on the Floor a little bit here. Because when I was listening to it, like I was like, oh man, I really like this. This is on my list. Oh no. Uh-oh. And you have 10 minutes to try to make a decision. Then it's like trying to weed out, well, what do I take off? And I just didn't want to do that. It was such a breeze to listen to. Like it's super easy to listen to. It felt like there's points where you can kind of, just throw a dime and you're going to hit a good song. So it's whatever, I just went, I tried to make it as easy as possible for myself, knowing that we had said after we last recorded that, hey, Sunday we're doing it. So I was like, all right, well, I don't want to take too much through from the first pass. And then like, I went to tell you guys how many I had left. And I was like, oh wait, I already did the cuts. So I like I said, I think I had 24. It's as easy as this show can be. It didn't feel difficult, and it's because I didn't overthink it. And I think ultimately I'm thinking harder now than I did when I was making my cuts. So this seems like it has all the makings of something that we could either kill or completely miss. Chris, what do you think for the final say? How many do you think we get through?
Dude, this one is so hard. And I think it's hilarious to hear you guys say you enjoyed exactly what I hated picking the 20 songs. And also, like, I'm so stoked to hear you guys say about Four on the Floor, because it is actually like a killer record and I never noticed. So like, my bad to the universe on that. I think I'm gonna go with a tidy 7.
Ooh, I like
above average, and I feel confident.
I like that. Math has been your approach lately, John. Is math going to get us through?
Yeah.
Is he right?
I was actually thinking 7 was going to be my pick. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna say 6.
Okay, all right. Take the under there. Everybody's going high, David. This is your chance to like kind of snipe a low one just in case, or swing for the fences.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I don't want to go low because I think we're going to all be drawing from the same well, more or less. only they'd put Field Day in there, then maybe we'd
the great uniter.
Just kidding. Jeez. I'm gonna go 5.
Okay.
I think 7 might be the number, but I'm gonna go 5 just to keep it somewhere fun.
All right. So now the question becomes: 5 seems like, Chris used the word tidy. I like that to describe 5 actually, because it feels like there's 5 home runs, and then like to get the 7 would be like 2 that didn't feel like they would be home runs. Like unlikely heroes. Like somebody from the 9 spot hitting a homer to continue with our baseball.
Just go right back to the well. I love it.
I think I'm gonna have to go. 8 feels too high. I mean, it feels possible, but it feels too high. 14 seems too low, but I think I'd rather go low here than high. So I'm gonna go 4. I don't want to win anyway. I don't know why I'm sweating it. Okay.
Go ahead, John. Reprimand him.
Yes,
I know. He knows what I think. I don't have.
I know
to.
the deal.
It's
I know the
blind.
deal. All right.
This guy hates winning. It's ridiculous. You know.
The good news is I don't think I've won that often this year. Like there was like.
Is that the good news?
Yes, I don't like that
snooze.
pressure.
Yeah, the good news is I come from a long line of losers, and the entire line is me. I stand behind myself.
Now he's self-sabotaging on purpose.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick pause, and when we come back on the other side, we're going to play the game.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The 4 of us have come through the Dag Nasty everything except for Field Day, of course, discography, and plucked out 20 songs that we're now going to mash together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you, in case you have never given Dag Nasty the time of day. And I only got one answer when I asked. And so, like, it's from the record we've all talked about a lot. So I feel like I'm going to go there first and just kind of see if it landed with everybody else. From Can I Say? Can I Say?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, of course.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, like I said, this is the only answer I got. So had to be on something, right? Had to be pretty close at least.
That was the only answer you got?
Yeah. I mean, well, no.
Was it from Travis Barker?
It was not. It was not from Travis Barker. I should ask him, though. What are your favorites? Let's see if I can get them on for the after the fact.
I mean, it's the perfect hardcore song, right? Like, it does everything that a hardcore song's supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Less than 2 minutes. Boom. Like, come in, punch you in the face for 2 minutes and get out.
High-pitched guitar, not squeals, but I mean, dude, they set the bar.
Yeah, man. All right, one down. Chris, where do you want to go?
I mean, we could do another one that should have been on that list. I mean, like, there's 2 songs that I'm shocked didn't come before. Can I Say? I'll start with Circles.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hey, there we go.
Like perhaps the best riff ever. That intro riff. I mean, Jesus,
dude, amazing.
Yeah.
My band Noise Mountain, we played with Field Day. Hey, they're there.
No shit.
Which is it was supposed to be Dag Nasty, wig out era doing, all those songs, but Brian Baker got back in the Bad Religion album tour cycle, and he gave them their full blessing and was like, this is totally legit. And they were like, okay, well, we're going to go by Field Day because that would be totally weird. And, separate ourselves from just being Dag Nasty. And they were fucking awesome. And I was talking to Pete Kortner before the show, and I was like, dude, there is this Dag Nasty bootleg from Trenton, New Jersey City Gardens, and you and Doug Carey and the bass player hit this harmony in circles, and it's not on the recording because they didn't play on. They didn't. Excuse me, brain is. But they didn't play on that. But he was like, "Dude, I know the harmony. Do you want to practice it with me right now?"
Wow.
He was like, He was like, we don't do it, but do you want to practice it with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll go low if you go high. And he goes, all right. And we just sat there and we were like, I can't, I can't watch and not be heard, or whatever it was. And he goes, perfect. I'm coming for you when we sing that song, and you better fucking be there. We're harmonizing.
Oh, that's sick, man.
And he did, dude. And I'm sure I was like, okay, I'll be here, whatever, but he knew the nerdy, stupid bootleg fucking thing that I like punished him with, and totally, humored me and totally came at me at the show, and we did it. So it was one of those moments where don't meet your heroes. Well, this time you do, and it like works out perfectly. Yeah. Anyway, long story, but that was the song.
Perfect fucking story.
So
I just would like to add, high risk, high reward. They say that in wrestling.
Yeah.
There you go. You did it.
Shooting star press.
Yes. All right, John, where you want to go?
All right. Well, obviously, I've still got a lot from Can I Say, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go to my favorite song off of We Got It Denko's. How about Safe?
Hell yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm the odd man out
This
there.
might be a 10.
No. I'm the odd man out there. I don't have it.
Yeah.
No real reason, but
Safe is great.
Yeah.
We'll take the 3.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry, fellas.
That's a really cool song, and it's definitely like if you ever wanted to listen to a hardcore band that wasn't obsessed with being tough guys, like
right.
I feel like I've let you all down. All right,
That's okay.
David, where do you want to
go? I think we'll stick with something off Wig Out, just because I love it so much. What about The Godfather?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
Boom, boom.
I did not, when I first heard, I had just an assortment of Dag Nasty burned on a CD from LimeWire. That was like my introduction. And so I didn't know what was what. And when I heard The Godfather on that assortment of songs, I was like, this isn't the same band. I must have downloaded something else, and because it's so melodic.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it because you weren't used to hearing Pete's voice, or?
Well, yeah, and just I was used to the more blistering Can I Say stuff, which isn't like that far off from it, but it's just there's something a little more, I don't know what it is, but that song's real riffy in its own kind of way. Those little minor seventh noodly things that he's doing.
Yeah, and I guess it's like more rock drums.
Yeah,
like it's not like the driving drum beat you're used to. Yeah.
Mm. All right, so we're back around to me. Let's keep exploring other records for now. Let's move on over to 4 on the Floor. How about Still Waiting?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is gonna be a quick one, boys.
Should have picked 12.
I know, right?
Yeah. Have you guys ever gotten more than 10?
We have.
All four?
We have.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
here's what I'll say. I mean, none of us, picked 10 or over 10, so that it won't come into play here. But in that case, if one of us were to win it, then the person who wins gets to pick which song gets cut to bring us down to 10. So,
Okay, well.
it's happened before. There we go, though. Just like that. Still waiting. Let me put the numbers there, and we will keep it moving. Chris.
Well, you guys did a bunch of can I say ones, so I'm just gonna go right back to the goddamn well. I won't go with the windmill slam. I'll leave it for someone else. Let's do Thin Line.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. There's the
All
three.
right. Had a chance.
And 3-3-3. I had a feeling that was going to be my place, is missing the ones that feel like they're supposed to be there. Where are we at? 4 though?
That one's got...
We're already at 4 with 2 3s, so like I feel like we're doing A-okay though. So I don't mind being wrong on a couple here. John.
All right. Let's see if we can keep it going. How about Justification?
Yes, sir.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
man.
Hey.
Yep.
All right.
2 3 4, and just like that,
Not bad.
up to 5.
There's a local band here, an awesome thrash hardcore band, Quadliacha. They used to cover that one.
Oh no way, they did?
Yep. It's on that discography CD.
Oh. Justification, boom, boom, boom. See, I feel like there's going to be enough from Can I Say That? We're gonna have like 2s that feel like they should have been there, but so far so good.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
All right, David.
Well, let's see. This might be a let's see how this goes. Because it is streaming, all ages show.
I got it.
Absolutely.
No.
All right.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't.
That's a good song, man. It's a good song.
I liked it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it made my list.
I had to give a shout out to Field Day. But we won't have to keep waxing on it or anything. But that is a from that album. It's not the same version that's on the Discord box set that we're picking from, but
it was on it was on a 7-inch in between. Yeah.
Well, it was on the CD. The CD had it. Like if you had
right.
the original release of it, like the vinyl release doesn't have it. Yeah.
It doesn't. Oh, okay.
But it's on the CD. So if you had the CD, it was on there. It's a good fucking song. There's good songs on there. I mean, Ambulance Song is a good song too, and so is Field Day itself. Like there's stuff, and I would have put some of them on here. So
there you go. We'll take that 3 though. 3's a good showing for it. Well, I'll keep playing off of different records here. Let's try out one from Minority of One. How about Throwing Darts?
No.
Don't have it. No.
Oh, in the bin. He gets too confident. All right.
It was close. It was 22 or 23.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know that record that well, so I've only got like what really stood out to me. I do have 2 songs from it. I'll do a Can I Say song that I think will be a good one. Let's do Million Days off 4 on the Floor.
Hell yeah.
I love hearing the hell yeah, because that's one of the ones I was listening to that I was like, oh fuck, where do I make room for it? I wish I'm wishing now in hindsight I would have dropped Throwing Darts for it. but what can you do?
Well, it's another 3. I got it.
All right. Now that one.
To be honest, what you can do is lie, bro. You just lie.
I could.
Oh, the integrity of the list must be preserved.
He's right though.
I understand.
It must be preserved. I try to never lie.
It's for the culture.
But I will say, like 1,000%, that was the song I was listening to when I messaged you guys like 30 minutes before we went on. I was listening to that song and I looked at my list. I was like, I don't have this? What the fuck? And that's why I specifically said I feel like I disrespected 4 on the Floor. That song specifically. So
okay, there you go.
Just so you know, like I have no problem if we don't get to 10 putting my weight behind Million Days if it's needed. So
hell yeah.
All right. John.
Okay. Let's throw a dart, as it were, and let's go to minority of 1. Let's go with Ghosts.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah,
I got that too.
Hey.
Yep.
Nice.
That's a good fucking song.
Yeah.
It is.
These boys are really good at track 1s.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It's because like each one is hey man, this is a different record. Like it sounds, this is what's going on going forward. So Ghosts brings us up to,
and that song has the real lineage towards bands like Lifetime, and like it has that same like get up off your feet and jump vibe to it.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's, I mean, obviously aside from it just being a good song, I think ultimately that's what drew me to it. Is it felt like the lineage in song. So I was like, oh wait, this
it's contemporary. Yeah,
I can hear what's around this. So
well, they got the Can I Say lineup back for that one.
Oh, that's interesting too. Okay, that makes sense. Just like that though, it should be noted, David, you and I are out. We lost. We're sitting at John 6 right now with so much gameplay left. So let's see. Ghosts was John, so it's your turn, David.
All right. Well, let's just go ahead and kick it through the field goal here. How about values here?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
Right. I mean, come on. We all have that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Tried to add a little suspense, but he knew it was coming.
I mean, that's we'll get into it when we get down to the top 10. But I mean, that's a flagship song.
AFI famously covered that one.
That's right. Yeah,
you know what? We will talk about it, but I would take another song over it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's Circles. I would take Circles over it. I really would.
They are neck and neck for sure.
Yeah, I understand.
I always like to point out, and it's kind of surprising, I guess, that I didn't start there. But when you do the thing right off the bat, and I know what's up, that's what Values Here was. Like I was like, okay, I know what to expect. I know what's going on going forward, and it completely delivered on that. And because of that, we are sitting at Chris's 7 with still a good handful of songs out there. So now the question becomes, do I just keep playing outside the lines? I feel like I keep playing out. I'm looking at this other song that I'm feeling really bad about keeping. I'm wishing I would have dropped now in hindsight, but oh well. How about I look at this? I'll look at another 4 on the Floor song. How about that? How about Going Down?
No.
Oof. The silence is deafening.
That is a good song. That is a good song, but I also don't have it. That's a good song.
All right. Into the bin it goes. Chris?
I'll go to Can I Say song that I think might not be universal. I'll go with I've Heard.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
I do not have that one.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that the riff at like a minute in, like down, like it makes me want to break things. I just want to destroy everything around me.
It shares a lyric with The Godfather, and I don't know how or why that was decided, but it has the same. It's hard to give, it's hard to get part. That's awesome.
And I want to be sure we're not talking about the version on Field Day.
No,
is that the song that we did?
no.
That is the song that we did. Oh my god!
Is it? I've heard where they
It's like a 12-second piss take or something.
Yeah, well, it's like a blip, right? Yeah.
Well, don't they also do what's the other Dag Nasty song on Can I Say, where it's like, I saw you the other day and you passed by me and you didn't even say a word.
Yeah.
And then they like parody that too, and it's like,
yep.
All right, guys, don't make fun of yourselves here.
Right.
All right, John.
All right. Let's go to the most recent Dag Nasty, where they got the original singer Sean Brown. Shout out to Swizz, who's an amazing band. How about Cold Heart?
Oh man, no. I gave that a good.
So put that. I have it too. Yeah.
I don't have it. That's a great 7-inch though. It was
good.
You know, I was very. I mean, I wasn't like skeptical or anything. It's Dag Nasty. I was just like, okay, well, let's see what's going to happen. Every time they come out with something, it's kind of a new adventure, you know. But I was very thrilled. I mean, it gave me everything that I wanted. But
yeah,
I do not have
never heard it, but I was impressed.
Yeah, I really
did
like
exactly the same for me.
Yeah.
It made 20 easy for me. I was like, you know what? This feels like worth talking about. That's really why I put it, you know.
I would have, if I have to put a number to it, I'm guessing it was like 24. I think it was one of those ones on my first pass. I really like that. So, David.
Let's see. I don't think I've done anything off of 4 on the Floor. How about SFS?
No.
Yep, I got it.
I do not.
No.
Well, now we're getting into the 2 territory.
Oh yeah, that one's Brian Baker and his Minor Threat bandmate Lyle Pressler. They played on this Meatmen album called "The War of the Superbikes." And if you've heard it, or if you haven't heard it, rather, it's not far off from like this style of song. A lot of the album, except for it's got, you know, Tesco V singing, so it's, you know, a lot more gnarly. But it's total Brian Baker, mid to late 80s guitar god, punk rock.
It's got like
riffage.
The harmonies in the chorus like kind of remind me like more melodic Big Boys songs, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the palm muting is like just like blistering fast. It's just a fun song.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
Yes.
God.
Controversial statement.
yeah. Hot take, Brian Baker. Amazing.
Very good. All right. Let me try out a Wig Out song. I don't think I've done one of those yet. How about Trying?
Yep, I got it.
Mm-hmm. Super got it.
We're back.
Oh. And we skate past the 7, so nobody wins. But
okay, you know what? Wait, we doing Price is Right rules here, because like I got a shot then.
Nope. Nope. I mean, if we get no more, then we talk our way to the last 2.
Yeah, we're getting to 10 here. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think we're going above 10.
Yeah.
All right. Boom. Trying is in. Let me 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me mark that. And then we will get to Chris.
Is that like the most harmonics we've had so far is there? So that's really nice.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, Chris.
I mean, you guys keep not doing Can I Say songs. Like I'm like uncool guy that like, oh, should we go back? I'll do like the super self-titled. I'll go with Dag Nasty off Wig Out.
That was one of my other 24 first pass That didn't make
Yeah,
it.
I don't have it.
I got it.
Okay.
Take the 2. That's all right. Boom and boom. Got a couple in play here to fill out our list. John.
All right. I'll go back to Can I Say. How about Under Your Influence?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, no. We'll take that 3, though. You guys are practically done, I think.
I got 3 left.
Yeah. Got a few left.
Yeah. I've got a lot left because I've been the one.
I still got 5.
All right, so we'll do a couple more rounds then. Under Your Influence was John. And David.
Let's see. I'm going to go with something off Minority of One, which will be Minority of One.
No.
I got it.
I do too.
Oh. All right. Boom, boom.
Total
boom.
just ass kicker guitar solo in that one. You know, of course. I mean, whenever he does a solo, it's fucking awesome. My old roommate, so I got that album when it came out, and I don't know why, because I didn't know anything about Dag Nasty, and that was what led me to backtrack and get the other stuff. But my roommate at the time, who was also, you know, into punk rock, he was like, "Man, these guys are totally ripping off Pennywise."
No.
And I knew enough to know that they were an old school band, but I didn't know, like, you know, this is like still the Wild West of the internet as far as information was concerned. So it was like, oh, okay, it's the guy from Minor Threat with the glasses who's in Bad Religion. Like, you know, like that's like he's in Bad Religion now. Did he play on Generator? You know, like the pieces weren't put together yet, you know? And anyway, yeah, these guys totally ripped off Pennywise. Like, no, these guys fucking influenced Pennywise to become a band. If you haven't heard.
Pennywise owes them their entire career.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
like,
they'll say it too, you know?
I don't know shit
sure.
about that band, but I feel like any dude in that band would like literally spit out their drink if they heard somebody say
Yeah. But like it's that those early Epitaph bands, like they were all influenced by Dag Nasty. Like even, you know, Dave Smalley, you know, went from after he left Dag Nasty when he joined All, and then after he left All, started this band Down by Law, which was an early Epitaph band and put out some pretty good records in the mid 90s. But like to me, Minority of One, like that sounds like Down by Law to me, because that's the classic Dave Smalley vocals that like you hear on like Punk Rock Academy Fight Song and All Scratched Up. Like, and I love those records. So yeah, it was an easy like for me.
He was in full form with that, I think, already on a 4 on the Floor. You know, it was like he'd kind of found his mid range that he could do without just belting it out all the time. You know. And
oh yeah, his vocals in All are incredible.
Yeah, I mean I listened to the All episode that you guys did. So you guys gave him his flowers.
Oh yeah.
if you had to go back and like think like all those bands, right? Like the East Coast, the West Coast hardcore sound, right? The melodic hardcore sound. And you thought about like all the bands they were most influenced by, like Adolescence is obviously number one, right? Even though they were from the West Coast, that's the number one band. That, like, you have to give flowers to Dag Nasty for every single band there. Like Minor Threat being the Godfather, right?
Mm.
And then Adolescence, Minor Threat, Dag Nasty, Minor Threat, Descendants. Like, what else could be the bigger things, right? Like
Bad Religion, maybe might also.
Well, they credit the Adolescents with everything they were, right? So it's like I'm trying to think of like what was like the blood, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, you're pushing before,
right? Because like I mean, Bad Religion was the best at it. Yeah, Bad Religion was the best at it, right? And I will never take that away because they are, like I said, like I consider them to be a band that I would call my favorite band, but like they didn't come up with the blueprint like the bands I'm talking about did, right?
Yeah.
Like the Adolescents added in the harmonies and the melodies, and the Descendants added the pop element, and Minor Threat added the attitude and like the political discourse and like the songwriting, right? And then Dag Nasty was like the commercial side. That's just how I see it,
I hear you.
Yeah, Dag Nasty is like the band before the band. Like if they had started in like 1991, they would have been huge.
Yeah.
They were ahead of their time.
Yeah. All right. I'm thinking we got 2 more full rounds before the dump out, I think. So like the question becomes, well, I mean, how about I try one of my Can I Say tracks that are left? Feels like I can find one of you on one of these. How about 1 to 2?
Hell yeah.
Yep, got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the great fake outs. That's got the false stop.
Boom, boom, boom. And just like that. Boys, do we have one more in us?
I only have one song left.
Uh-oh. That's a lot of pressure. All right, Chris, let's find out.
Well, all I have left is What Now?
Yes, sir.
I don't have it.
No.
Oh. All right, so there's no more unanimi on the table. So no matter what, we're talking to get to what number 10 is. But we can make it harder, John. We can get a couple more 3s in here.
Yeah. How about Simple Minds?
Yes, sir.
Last minute cut.
Oh.
Great
That's
song.
fine.
Yeah. I mean,
We're playing with house money now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, David.
How about Exercise?
You know what? That's another one that I was listening to right before we went on, and I thought about, do I look for a place to put this? And I didn't want to do the work after I'd already done the work.
I gave it a hard second look, but it didn't make it.
All right. I'm thinking rather than roll through another round, since Chris is out, I'm just going to dump out here, even though these are mostly going to be ones at this point, I think. Never Go Back. Off of Can I Say?
Yes.
Hey,
No,
I'll take a 2.
but it's great.
Yeah, I'll take a 2 and a dump out. I'll come back to that one. Lie Down and Die.
Never Go Back. No, I do not have Lie Down and Die.
No.
Oh, in the bin. Average Man.
No.
Okay.
No.
Off Cold Heart, Wanting Nothing.
No.
No.
Ugh. And then last but not least,
Didn't have room for both of them.
yeah, that's why I took Wanting Nothing, is because I didn't have room for both of them. And then last but maybe least, Crucial 3.
Great song. I did not put it on the list.
No, I didn't have it.
All right, so into the bin it goes. You can make it harder with a couple more 2s here, John.
Oh, I've only got one left. It's White Flag.
There you go.
No.
And if that's not David's, no. All right, and then just for fun, David, what do you got left?
I've got Fall, Trying, and Bottle This, which was one of the minority of one deep cuts that I.
We said Trying. It's on there.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it?
it was some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't cross it off my my thing. We all had that. Yeah. Sorry, I've got Fall and Bottle This,
All
and that's it.
All right, so 9 it is, which, My heart told
9
me that we could have.
I
gotten
don't
there.
think I've ever done a show with more than 5. I honestly don't.
I mean, I guess not. We've all kind of been all over the place in these episodes. So here's the 9, and then we can start talking about these 3s and what's really.
Wait, so wait, I actually don't know who wins now. Nobody
wins. We just discuss which song is number 10. So.
Oh boy! All right.
We all win because we get to talk about Dag Nasty.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fair.
The 9 that are in, Can I Say, Circles, The Godfather, Still Waiting, Justification, Ghosts, Values Here, Trying 1 to 2.
That is good.
So, I mean, inclination here is to take one of the 3s, right? Like, so here, what do we got? Safe, Thin Line, All Ages Show, Million Days, I've Heard, Under Your Influence, Minority of One. I mean, I'll toss this over to you, Chris, but my inclination is to put my weight behind Million Days because, like, I felt.
Yeah,
I felt.
I had that written down, like Windmill Slam all the way. And again, like I love that you said it was a late cut for you, and like that it kind of stood out to you just before this, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
Like it's so good, and it's like, again, a band that you don't think about the later catalog. I think it's a real standout. I genuinely think that it's so good that it'd be a shame to not have it on there.
So yeah, David's with it. I mean, I know you're not one for brevity when it comes to this. You like to bring lots of songs into the conversation, John. But I mean, everybody's going to bat for A Million Days. Is there something else that we should be looking at?
Yeah, see, I was gonna fight for Safe. I think that
I love that song too.
That's a big song. I think it would fit really well at this 10.
I agree. That's also a great choice. And like I said earlier, like I love that it's not a tough guy song. It like kind of shows a different side. It has that what the Descendants added to those bands I was talking about that were the Blueprint, right? Yeah.
Kind of a similar riff as Million Days. And then if we're talking about Brian Baker's right hand. Man,
we're always talking about that.
That's a tough call. Both of those are personal favorites. So,
I mean, here's the only thing I'll say about the only negative I have to say about Safe versus Million Days is the fact that, like I said, when Million Days came up in my pre-show listen, like I wanted to do the work to find a place for it because I felt like I messed up. Whereas that didn't happen with Safe. Now, again, I'm not saying it doesn't belong. What I'm saying is it didn't do that thing. So do we want to put any weight to that in this conversation? Or do you guys just want to talk it out and figure it? Because it sounds like those are the choices, Safe or Million Days.
They both use the same really kick-ass phrasing in the guitar solo. And it's just funny. I don't think I've ever thought about the similarities between the two songs, but they're almost kissing cousins stylistically.
Yeah, I just listened to it now, and I can't believe I never noticed that. That's wild.
The lead that he does.
I'm really split on this one, guys. Like this is tough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think the only way to cure this is a vote. Pick between Safe and Million Days. Gun to your head, Chris. One or the other.
I'm going to stay with what I said. I'm going to go Million Days. I don't feel great, but that's what I'm going.
I think it's safe to say Safe, John.
Yep.
That means it's all down to you, David. Safe or Million Days?
Why do you have to do this kind of stuff? I'm going to go with Safe.
All right.
Pam Anderson versus Carmen Electra here. Whoever wins, we all win. They're both great. So Safe is the choice.
I don't think Million Days has anything to cry about. Like it fought a hard fought battle in in a tightly contested, because there was only room for one. Like if we only get 8, it's possible they both get in. So, all right, let's wind it down. We've got our 10 and let's crank it back up. So here's our 10. Can I Say, Circles, The Godfather, Still Waiting, Justification, Ghosts, Values Here, Trying, 1 to 2, and Safe. Now, Chris, we've gone through all the conversations. We've talked about, initially what was the one. Now that you know all the 10, is it still the same? What do you think? What's the one coming out of this?
I mean, we had this conversation, right? It's between Values Here and Circles.
Okay. I mean,
I you know what? I've never gotten to be the dick, and I'm going to be the dick, and I'm going to say Circles. I know the argument. I get it. Circles is a better song. I'm going with it. And I think they both represent the band equally well.
All right. What do you think, John? Is it one of those two, or is it something else?
See, like, if you had showed me this 10 before we started, I would have said, oh, it's Can I Say? Like, that's their song. But, like, I think Circles is maybe low-key their best song. Like, listen to that when that bridge comes in, and, like, the guitar line is so good. And I think it's underrated. So I think I'm on board with Circles.
All right, David, what do you think?
Totally fine with it.
All right, well, let's not belabor the point then. Let's go with Circles. Boom, boom, boom. Circles is our number 1. We put in some work today, fellas, but we also did fine work today, fellas. Let's get that going underneath us. I'll run down our list one last time, and we'll get on out of here. Circles is our number 1. Can I Say, The Godfather, Still Waiting, Justification, Ghosts, Values Here, Trying, 1 to 2, and Safe rounds out our 10. And with that, let's let Circles get a moment in the sun.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked number 1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second LTE internet plan with smartphone plan savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
I wish the moment in the sun could be a little bit longer, because I feel like people listening to the pod would enjoy that, but Spotify doesn't. And they try to kick me off of their platform when I do that. So sorry, folks. But now you have a list that you can listen to.
I mean, let that riff guide you. Let that riff guide you to the sun. That's all I have to say.
Yes. So we've done all the work for you, man. Like, we've made a list of 10 songs for you to go listen to in case you've never listened to Dag Nasty. Again, we did all the heavy lifting. As you can tell, it's a very agreeable band. We came out with 9. And, I wouldn't say it got heated. The only little bit of heat was discussing number 10. And this was just a super easy breezy band to listen to. And if you got 2 hours, I recommend just taking the whole thing. It's great.
Except Field Day.
Except for Field Day. Which, of course, if you're on Spotify, you can't do anyway. So if you're interested in the full list, I can find it for you. And you can listen to everything but Field Day. But we've done it. We did all the work. Boom, boom, boom. You can now comment on our list. Hey, man, I think you guys missed this song. I don't know, man. We did 9. I don't think we missed anything. But I would have done this song, or this is my favorite Dag Nasty song, or maybe you want to say, man, Field Day's my favorite. Yeah, I can't say one way or the other. I can't say
Babe,
one
go
way.
ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, babe.
I can't say one way or the other because I've never listened to it. But if that's you, you can do that here on Spotify. But if you're going to do that, please leave us 5 stars. It helps us get seen in the algorithm. Same thing goes for Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, leave a review. Super helpful. Would appreciate that. Sharing, of course, is caring. But maybe you got $1 a month. Patreon.com/ohijustin really is helpful. If you got $1 a month, you can help out. You know, you get Deprogrammed Before the Rest Ruled. You get the conversation we're about to have after the fact, which I think we might actually get into top 10 bands because we discussed that a little bit. And I've got a hot movie take that the boys are probably not going to give a shit about, but we'll find out.
I have a fucking wrestling thing I got to talk about too, but it's not going to bore anybody. Trust me, it's going to be okay. I had a really weird experience today at a comic book convention.
Yes, plenty for us to talk about on After the Fact, and you can only hear that by going to patreon.com/ohijustin. It also gets you a special role in our Discord server, the Legion of Stupid Discord. So all that is super helpful by doing that for Patreon. And plus it makes me feel good, man. Like, it makes me feel like the work we're putting in here at Deprogrammed is worth something. Maybe you want to join the Discord server but not do all the other stuff. That's fine. The Legion of Stupid Discord, I'm pretty sure you can search it up. If not, just reach out to me and I'll get you a link. Come join in. Help us grow a tree. We do some counting. Please don't do bits. That's pretty much the Legion of Stupid Discord server. But also, if you want to come be on the show, that's where you do it. You find the Deprogrammed channel. You can talk about the episodes there. There's also a sub-channel where you can find panelists for whatever bands you want to talk about. It all happens there. Again, we're a podcast. Subscribing, rating, commenting is super helpful. But the best way you can help me is by telling somebody that you listen to the show, hey, I listen to Deprogrammed, and you should too. And with that, Dag Nasty. Learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.